The Immortal Mask, a 1970s superhero crime noir adventure that follows a retired soldier who is given a covenant interview with a death row inmate. What he learns from the interview thrusts him into Atlanta's shadowy underworld. He'll have to utilize his military training to survive from being hunted for the information that could topple the most powerful ruling class in the city. This is not a pre-order or a crowdfunding campaign. Get your books now at denali's.com.
First world, come in and take a seat. Pay us no attention, it's all conspiracy. We have satire and parody, some funny, some perverse. If none of it's offensive to you, you'd be the first.
A good baker isn't afraid to get his hands dirty. Eric Hatcher is serving up vengeance, one slice at a time. The Punisher mixes with Gordon Ramsay in this deliciously horrifying slasher comic. Eric Hatcher's family is slaughtered, his bakery ruined, his body and mind broken, but he still has his hunger for revenge. This is no joke.
"25 seconds to curtain, folks."
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ever sanguine Ali Sanguis.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. First time to have you on here. I feel like we've made our way in the world now because I see you everywhere. I'm like, she's never been on our show. And there's a reason for that, I know, but we prevailed and got you on anyway. Welcome. What have you done to your eyes? I cannot see you now. Those are cool glasses.
Thank you.
I can't tell what the shape is from this distance, but bat wings. Damn, I want those. I wouldn't look as good in them, but they look cool. They'd look cool on my dresser. Never
it
be
helps
worn.
with the light. It's like right in my face.
Yeah, my disguise is plain glass because it's like just reflecting the monitor right back. No one can see my eyes. All they see is just white Spider-Man eye glare. Got an active chat already waiting for you out here. We have Woody is out here as usual, reading studies about Cerveza sickness viruses. Oh no, I've got a Cerveza. I'm not sick yet. Atrocity Press in the chat. What up? Glad to see you. Pops Van Zant also out there. We are, of course, broadcasting on multiple channels through the Madness Comics Network. Comics Related Madness. I don't know. It's changed names a couple of times, and all I know is Madness and Comic both in there somewhere. So, Ali, who are you? Because I see you on Twitter. I see you 3 times on Twitter, by the way. You know that.
Well, two of those are people who are impersonating me, and Twitter won't delete the profiles.
And they too much time on their hands. You know, I was like, I don't even see what they're doing to have fun with it. I mean, they're not even trolling; they're just there.
Yeah, it's just there.
Could be worse. Could be worse. But where do you come from, and why are you into comics, the business?
Where do I come from?
Yeah, from
Like
from a comic
physically?
perspective. Yeah. Well, physically, we know the biology of all of that, but no, don't dox yourself. But like, how did you come into being into comics fandom? Were you born into it? Did you get introduced to it? Gateway drug, something like that?
Well, I could tell you a really terrible story. So when I was 9, my dad, who was a DJ, a radio DJ, he had a bunch of Kiss comics because he also worked at a pawn shop. And I spilled water all over him.
This is a horrible story. Now I am scared.
I didn't know. I didn't do it on purpose. I just had some water and I knocked it over on all of them. To his credit, he wasn't mad. But yeah. So that was.
Oh, so
there you
they
go.
were around. Yeah, I had a young boy in the house. He was mine. It wasn't just somebody off the street. Decided to read one of my X-Men annuals in the bathtub. It didn't survive.
Oh no.
So,
Well, I'm sorry. At least I know I'm not alone.
Yeah.
But as far as appreciating comics, that didn't really happen until I was more of a prose reader until my first year of college. And I was just in the library and somebody came up to me and they were like, "Hey, you look like this character." And I was like, "I don't know who that is." And what I used to do in high school and early college almost every day is I was really into Egypt, and I thought it would be cool if I drew an Eye of Thoth or an Eye of Ra on my face. Or
okay.
Eye of Osiris, sorry. And so I would draw it over my eye all the time. And I kind of was doing this thing where I was like, I want to be a hippie, so my hair was always messy and stuff. So this guy walked up to me and he's like, "You look like death." And I was like, "Well, thank you." I work very hard to maintain my paleness. And he's like, No. You look like death. So he led me over to the graphic novel section, which was not a thing that I knew what it was. And he's like, "No, this." And I was like, "Oh, she kind of does look like me. That's weird." And it kind of, and I knew who Neil Gaiman was. And it just kind of slid from there. And especially when I found out that the Anne Rice, all the Vampire Chronicles books were turned into comics.
Yeah. Innovation did a great job on those.
Yeah, and I have all of those.
It's funny that you say you knew who Neil Gaiman was, but you didn't know about the Sandman graphic novels, because that's almost always the way people find out about it.
Nope, I had no idea. Because I read his books. I read Ocean at the End of the Lane, and
You're making me feel old, Allie. You're like, yeah, I read his books. I start Ocean at the End of the Lane. I'm like, yeah, that comes well after American Gods and after Nancy Boys, and I'm just going down the list.
I didn't read Nancy Boys or any of that until 6 years ago. I saw the movie Mirror Mask before I read that.
You probably got more out of the movie than the book, because the book was, I don't know, they were both trippy. What did you think though of Neverwhere?
I haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it. Funny movie. You haven't read it either then? Okay. Probably one of his best works.
It was it was his kids' books and stuff that I read. So
okay, so Crazy Hair, The Wolves in the Walls.
Yeah.
Cool stuff like that. But is that what made you want
now
to?
I got his
permanent
signature
autograph
tattooed on me. And I don't regret it, because I got it because I was like, oh, I want to be as good of a writer as he is. but it kind of pisses me off now because he personally called me a racist on Twitter.
Oh no.
And
You go, hi Neil. Hi. I'm the racist.
well, yeah, and people accused me of not being a real fan because, you don't know about it. I was like, excuse me. Yes, I do. And yes, I am. Like, hello. But,
just because you don't know everything in fandom does not mean you're a real fan. That just means you're not a trivia geek.
well, at this point, I do know everything about Sandman. It just started like a couple decades late because it was 2005 by the time anyone told me about it.
Yeah, you had to have the chance to become a fan. So I don't know. And there's still things about Sandman. There's a really great anthology. Leslie, can't remember his name, but there's an annotated Sandman, and he basically it's all the books.
Yeah,
but
I
he's
know.
dissecting all the panels.
I have them, and you know what's hilarious? I got them after the crappy show came out.
You
Guess
know?
how much I got them for? Still in the wrapping.
I'd say at least $25 a piece.
I got each of them for $5.
Oh, okay. So that's the Leslie Klinger stuff. I still need to go out and get at least issue number 2 because he emailed me years ago because I had a book out called Alice's Journey Beyond the Moon, and he's like, "Hey, this is from the book." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." He knows it's his. I got his, call out from his blog on my banner when I sell the book. So I've got a mention in the book
Cool.
of the annotated Sandman thing, and I've never added it to my ego collection to say that's me. There's something moving behind you. Do you have a critter?
Yeah, that's my dog.
Okay, I couldn't. It was dark, and I was above you, and I was like, "It's a bird. It's something."
No, he aloha mora'd my door and jumped on my bed.
Awesome.
So just 1 second. I gotta shut my door quick.
Well, we'll do that. And
he knows how to open it, but he doesn't know how to close it.
Dumb dog. Come on. It goes both ways.
Oh, your buddy.
Animals and entryways. That's been the bane of my existence today as well. Because I have a window right here in front of my desk, and one of the panes is just out, and I've never replaced it. So I just leave it open, and I just cover it with my weatherproof curtains whenever I want it closed, and it works just fine. But above it, I have a bird feeder. So I had it open today, and I left the room for a little bit. And when I came back, there was a brown thrasher sitting on my bed. He'd come in, looked at me, flew around, knocked over a couple of Lego things, and found his way out. And I'm like, well, that was interesting. So I closed my door and I started working. So it's like 15 minutes later, I hear the brown thrashers out there calling because they have a distinctive call. And then one of them responds and it's like super loud. I'm like, that's not right. So I got up and I opened the door, and there in the living room was another brown thrasher that had gotten in earlier with the first one that I hadn't seen, and flying around the living room, beating its way against the windows. I'm like, stupid bird. So I opened the door. He didn't fly out. I think he came back through here and flew out the window because he's gone. He's either gone or he hit something too hard and he's behind the refrigerator, and we'll smell him in a month.
Yay.
Yay, dead bird. No, I think he's fine. I think he got out the window. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about comics and your entry into them. So at some point, you looked at these things and said, I could do that.
Well, actually, it started with me saying I can make a movie. That's what EGGBEATER, the comic, was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a movie. It turns out movies are really expensive. So I kind of like, and I had a director. We were lining up actors, scouting locations. I was doing makeup tests. I have a theme song done, but it just wouldn't work out. Like, it wasn't coming together, especially financially. So I was like, well, I really want to get this out there. Like, I believe in this. I want it out there. There is something that's a little bit like a movie that I can put it into. It requires changing up the script, obviously, because there are things you can do in a movie that just don't quite make sense in a comic.
Right.
Like you can say, "Oh, the sweep across the forest" or whatever, but you know, in a comic, that's a splash page. So,
Yeah. The splash page with the text at the far right lower corner, so that your eye actually sweeps across and finds it.
right, exactly. So all it really required was changing up some of that, and then I condensed a lot of the dialogue, so that it's not just like slogging through a bunch of dialogue. Because you can say things in a movie fast or slow, but
Right.
like
Comics
people,
is a compressed medium.
yeah, people, it hurt, but I was
Kill those darlings.
Yeah, I was acknowledging that it's a visual medium, so people are going to want to see the images more than they're going to want to see my wonderful puns.
Well, and the movie's not dead. Let's be clear about that. The movie is on a shelf while the waters are tested with a comic book.
Sure, I'd be open to it. The only thing is I'd have to have creative control, because I wouldn't want anything woke to happen to it, especially
just take the Netflix money and run.
No, absolutely not. Like, I would rather die penniless, quite honestly, than have some like corporation just totally screw over like all the people who believed in my silly little, egg beater book.
That'll change in another 30 years. Because I'm reminded of Alan Moore when they did League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and they went to Alan Moore and they're like, what did you think of this League of Extraordinary, this horrible movie if you've never seen it?
I have seen it, but it's been, I think I only saw it when it came out.
Yeah, you have a submarine the size of an aircraft carrier making right turns in Venice. It was just 90-degree angle sharp turns, and they asked him what he thought about it. He's like, well, what am I supposed to think about it? Somebody came to me and said, we'd like to make a movie coincidentally with the same title as a book you did, and here's a bucket of money. He's like, I took it and that was it.
I'm not Alan Moore, so.
Oh, good. We don't need another one.
I mean, have you seen his scripts?
Yeah, it's 11 pages for the first page of Watchmen. 11 pages of text. So, yeah, they're
and it's in all caps. And it's like screaming. I have the utmost respect for any artist who has worked with Alan Moore, because damn. Like,
yeah, because
wow.
Brian Bolland had to figure out, was Brian Bolland, right? Yeah, it was. That in chapter 5 of Watchmen, he's like, okay, I got to make sure that my panel layouts are a Rorschach design for every layout that's in there. Even though no one's going to know it unless somebody tells them to go to the center of the book and then lift the pages and look down, and then lift the pages and look down. And it's a Rorschach of panels, and it's a Rorschach of the activity in the panels. It's always mirrored.
And it's like, who reads scripts anyway? I'm sure until recently, probably not very many people even knew what a comic script looked like. But I mean, you can see them now, and it's fairly obvious. I mean, Neil Gaiman's scripts are a mess too. He is a terrible scriptwriter, just awful.
Well, because they're really not writing a script. They're writing a letter to the artist saying, I want you to kind of do this. You remember that thing where this happened here? Yeah, kind of get that feel into it. That's not a script. That's an email or a message or a letter.
Yeah, and I can't imagine being an artist and trying to work with that. It sounds obnoxious. I worked really hard to make sure that I gave my artist only what he would need, and not a bunch of stuff that was going to, annoy him or take more time of him reading stuff. Like, I was like, here it is. That's all there is to it. If you have questions, let me know.
Yeah. My script for the artist was also very terse. He's like, what do you want here? I'm like, I don't know. What's it sound like to you?
Well, it's worked out better when I micromanage less.
Yeah. That's true for so many things.
Yeah, I have a vague idea of what I want, but usually if I micromanage it with an artist, what I get is what I asked for, but it's not great.
Yeah, it's missing that je ne sais quoi that another input can throw into it.
Yeah.
More people in the chat here. Mr. Yanafui said, I don't want to scare you, Allie, but you have a bug on your face. Those are bat wings, Mr. Yanafui. Those, they're, get hip, man. Get hip. Woody says, I'm old. To me, Sandman is a 1954 Chordette song. Well, yeah, I did.
Me too.
And a great one at that. I love that song.
I have that on vinyl.
Oh, man. Now you are really reaching back to have it on vinyl.
Well, it was my grandma. She had on a little 45, and she gave me all her 45s. So
do not part with those things.
Oh, no.
I parted with all my albums. I had what they called 12-inch singles when I was in college. It was like a 45, but it was done on a 12-inch, and it played at 33. And it was like, it's the same song, but it's 15 minutes long. So it's like dance party mixes and stuff like that.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that was a thing at one time. You could get really long versions of these songs.
Huh.
And then, record players for a while were impossible to find. I'm like, well, these are never coming back. Let's take these to the Salvation Army. And then record players came back.
Yeah, but like I wouldn't buy one of the new ones. I see Walmart selling them and stuff. And I'm like, I don't think I'd buy, a plastic record player from Walmart. The sound is going to be terrible.
Yeah. And of course, and now they come with USB ports on them. So you can play your phonograph and record it into an MP3 at the same time. I want to take this really cool sound and make it completely less charming.
That sort of defeats the purpose. If I want to listen to something digitally, it's already digital.
It's already digitized. Yes, absolutely.
That's why what I did start doing. So my record player is right here, and it's metal because it was my dad's, and so it's like it's an original, maybe not original, but it's like an older record player. It's a Yamaha FG Servo P550 automatic.
Built to last.
Yeah, and it sounds freaking great. And I started taking videos with my camera because I don't have a camera phone. I have just a regular recording camera. And you can hear even in the video, you can hear the difference. Right. Whereas if I put it digitally, it would just recompress it to digital and it would sound like it was already digital.
Yeah, it's a lot of people love the digital for the convenience. And I don't know. I think the same is true of digital comics. Something gets lost when you're reading a PDF of a comic. It's hard to find, but it's there.
It doesn't feel like you own anything when you have a large digital library. I can turn off my computer and I still have all my books and music.
Yeah. So far, I know a guy who's, a huge book collector because he's of the mind that paper media is going to go away someday and then we won't be able to trust anything. And I sent him the story this week. I'm like, when you're getting that paper media, get the old stuff because they're rewriting Roald Dahl now.
Yeah. It's Dr. Seuss and Roald Dahl. And it's interesting to me that they're at least starting, because I don't think it'll stop there. They're starting with children's literature.
Yeah. Well, it always starts there.
Yeah, because they know, kids don't know any better. And, adults will say, well, maybe we should, dumb things down for kids so that kids grow up nicer. Like, some do say that. I think it's wrong. I'm pretty sure just like all those Dr. Seuss books are worth a fortune now, all the original Roald Dahl books are going to be worth a fortune now and impossible to find. But I don't think there are. I think there are books that are for adults but not for children that should not be in public school libraries. I'm concerned that probably public schools will toss out the original copies of these books and then buy these new censored ones.
Sure they will. And they'll just. It started with Dr. Dolittle because we can't have. There was a scene in Dr. Dolittle where he goes to a tribe in Africa that had never seen a white man before. So, this person's white. He must be a god. Oh, that's so very bad.
In Dr. Dolittle?
Yeah, it was one of the Dr. Dolittle novels.
Oh, I didn't even know they were novels.
Yeah. There were novels.
Wow. Okay.
All the movies were based on.
I just grew up with the musical.
Yeah. Well, they cleaned up all the books decades ago, or tried to. At least they took them out of schools.
Wow.
But kids are bubble wrapped. I'm doing a project right now with the Grimm's fairy tales, and I'm just reading. Like, these stories are a lot different than the Disney versions, which I expected.
Yeah,
And then
they're
I got the
much
one
darker.
then there's the robber bridegroom, where this woman is hiding behind a cask of wine because the guy she's married to she doesn't trust. He comes in with a bunch of drunk guys and a young girl, and they force wine down her until her heart gives out. Then they rip her clothes off and cut her to pieces and salt her.
Yeah.
And it visually, graphically describes it, that removed her dainty clothing, was the phrase that was there. I'm like, they just Cosby'd her. And it's in
there's a reason why Grimm's fairy tales, and those are the ones that are collected, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason why they had dark stories for children, because they were memorable. Kids would remember them, and they all had a lesson. And it made it stick, It was like, this is a scary thing that could happen, so don't do this so that this doesn't occur. It's the same as how cartoons used to be darker, like Land Before Time. That is a very dark cartoon, but it could presumably help a child deal with stuff like death.
We used to joke when I was a kid. We had television then. That if they ever really do remove violence from television, every Roadrunner cartoon we've ever watched is going to disappear. And sure enough, they've gone in and censored the old Warner Brothers cartoons to remove a lot of references from it.
Yeah, and I'm glad with all that stuff. I have all of those on VHS and DVD copies. All the original old cartoons and stuff that I grew up watching a long time ago. Like my dad picked up a whole set of VHS tapes and DVDs, later, because they started releasing them in like big collections at Walmart. I kept all of that. My kids never watch television.
It's easy. You can put what you want on in front of them now, and have much more control over it.
And I don't need, I don't have to worry that Netflix or Amazon is going to see what I say on social media and delete my account.
Yep.
I don't have to worry about, my kid turning on Disney Plus, because I've seen the crap they have on Disney Plus. And I don't have to worry about her seeing any of that stuff either. She's never watched TV. She's never watched any of that, because I just bought all the original stuff. And now
she's not missing anything.
Yeah, and she doesn't even know what a commercial is. She had somebody was showing us their phone or something, one of her friends, because her friends have phones. She doesn't have a phone. And she's like, "What's wrong with the video?" She's like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, what is this? This isn't the right video. Like, did we skip to a different video?" And her friend's like, "It's an ad." And I was like, "Oh yeah, my kid doesn't know what commercials or ads are, because I can have blocks on all that stuff."
The one thing she's missing, even though she's getting all the classic stuff, is she doesn't have the feeling that comes with knowing that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is going to be on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. on ABC. And if you don't get home in time, you won't see it for a whole year. That's it.
Yeah, and that's another. I've got all those on DVD and VHS too, because they're talking about not showing that stuff because, like, oh, it's bullying, and it's like, really, like, come on.
Yeah, he overcame it, guys. Speaking of physical media, you want to get your hands on. By the way, Hojo, welcome to the chat. Glad you're there. Bane, yo, back to you too. And
that's his
Ray
bone.
Haylock, Tubbs web guy.
That's his bone.
Bone, Bane. Yeah, damn my eyes. Don't get old, Allie. It sucks. It really does.
Ray Haylock, Tubbs web guy. Yo, what's up?
Yeah. So I'm watching this. I'm looking at this book. I'm like, I love the concept of this book, but I'm trying to put my finger. So what's the elevator pitch here?
Elevator pitch.
Who and why is EGGBEATER? We saw the video, but pretend we didn't.
So, EGGBEATER, Eric Hatcher, he was a man who had a wife. She was sick. They have 2 kids. They live in a little apartment above their bakery. But a new gang has moved into town. They every month, he had to pay. They were extorting him for protection, and now they want him to pay again because they have a new boss. Well, he refuses to pay, so they come later and burn everything down, burn the bakery, burn the house, and kill his wife and children, and then leave him severely disfigured. They pour boiling donut oil on him, so now he's lost his business and his family, and himself. He's all messed up, and so he goes crazy and creates, using the implements of his trade, an arsenal that he can use to go and wreak revenge upon these people who have ruined his life. All 13 people, so a baker's dozen.
A baker's dozen. I love that. Nice little touch there. Yes, because all 13 of these people,
They all deserve to die.
Absolutely.
that's
And that's Mo Biggs. If you know who Mo Biggs is, he actually
I have many coffee cups with his name on them right behind me here.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he
full of
drew
Mo
the
Bugs
parallel and said the demon baker of sweet treats, and I was like, oh, he's perfect. I should have thought of that. And so he's letting me use it. So yeah, it's a callback to vintage horror, when it was good and had no apologies, and comedy and horror go really well together. So
Yes, they
that's
do, actually.
why the puns are there. And there's a lot of darkness in there, but I hope that I've added an amount of comedy and a little bit of hope even to it to make it more human.
You have to have that mix. I mean, no Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie death would be the same if there wasn't a line that went with it. Ash and the Evil Dead wouldn't be as memorable if it wasn't for the goofiness that would come out of his mouth every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
As things were going
Absolutely.
crazy.
And the second Evil Dead 2 is the superior of the loose trilogy anyway.
What do you think of the series?
I hate the last movie.
No, I mean there's like a series on
the TV show. I didn't watch it.
I tried to. I'm like, I'm just not getting it. I think maybe I should have stuck with the movies.
The second one is the best. Absolutely best.
So this is the main cover, or is this a poster here?
This is going to be the main cover. I wanted it to be a callback to again, like old VHS covers. I did a lot of scrolling through old horror movie VHS tape covers, which admittedly I had to look online because most of the stuff I have is not horror. It's all like kids stuff. Because that's sort of what I had growing up, and so I just kept all that stuff. But and this is what I came up with as the homage to a horror movie cover. And the original art I have right here, that actually sold out already. It was available as a tier. This is what the original looked like.
So that's hand colored.
Yes, everything. Whoa, my earpiece is coming out. Everything, this whole book is going to be on actual paper. So in the end, I will have a stack of this.
Yeah.
That is for every single page. So
you know what that's called? Having things to sell. I
don't know if I could bear to part with. This was the only thing I could bring myself to part with, and I kind of didn't even want to do that, but I was like, I have to offer up something. But maybe it's so dear to my heart that I don't know if I could ever actually part with it. But I don't know, who knows. But yeah, this is the original. Everyone who backs that second, I believe it's the second tier, gets the signed book and 2 prints. This is one of the prints that you get. Is of this one that has the black and white or black and red background. And this was by Vinny Scatina. It's all hand done. I don't know.
That's only a $15 tier. Are my
For the signed book 2 prints?
Yeah. Signed book 2 prints, $15.
Yeah.
What is this, like 4 pages? Come on.
No. So the reason that I'm able to make it affordable is because, well, partially because I'm printing locally. So that eliminates any, huge lump of shipping that I might need. It eliminates any, bump that I need to create for if there's reprinting stuff. So I'm just going across town, not even. It's 10 minutes away from me where this is happening. I can be there the day they print it. And it'll be fast and I can see every copy while I'm there. So that eliminates a lot of that. They because they're local, they know me, they know everybody. They actually do the printing for my kids' orchestra. And they have this whole array of stuff. And when I found them, I was just like, this is perfect. This makes it so much less expensive and it keeps all the money local. I'm not outsourcing to China.
Have they done comic books before? Or
yes.
Then they know what they're doing. It's not a new project you got to handhold them through.
They've been in business for like 40 years. So
yeah, there's a lot of printers around me, and I tried to do local business with them for our last hardcover. We did a hardcover version of our last book, and I was looking all over the place. I finally drove to the place that would never return my calls, and they're like, "Oh yeah, the guy who runs our hardcover machine had a heart attack. He's in the hospital, and we're not even taking any orders right now." I'm like, "Okay, that's all I needed to know," and Ingram Spark it was, but.
Yeah,
Comics Mate's in the house. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm just here to egg you on, be a good baker, and shell out for some extra special.
Oh, thank you, Dean. DJ in the house.
That's a lot, Comics Mate. Thanks, man.
He knows that I love it, though. I freaking love puns. That's another thing. Like, I wanted to make sure I would enjoy writing this because I don't much enjoy writing scripts. I usually find it tedious. I don't like having to do my own formatting. I'm an editor. I love doing formatting for other people, but I don't like doing it for myself. So I was like, I need to make sure that I can enjoy it. And coming up with the puns and interesting ways to kill people with baking stuff is how I've been able to still make it enjoyable. Because, like, you read a Neil Gaiman script, you read an Alan Moore script, and it doesn't really look like they enjoyed what they were doing. Like, it looks like it was kind of painful and they were maybe even angry. Like, Alan Moore scripts are very kind of scary. But if you read, like, a Chuck Dixon script, you can tell he enjoyed every moment of that. He is having a blast writing, whatever he's writing. Nightwing, like, whatever. So that's kind of what I wanted to go for. It was like, I want to make sure I'm having fun because then I know, or at least I have a pretty good guarantee that my artist is going to enjoy himself and then the reader is going to enjoy themselves.
Yes. If you want your reader to have fun with your story, have fun with your story.
Yeah.
If you're not liking it, then there's a good chance they're not going to. So,
and I freaking love EGGBEATER.
Yeah.
This is my baby. It's so long in coming. It started from a place of whimsy. And I don't want to lose that. Even though, I was like 20 when I came up with this. Maybe not even. Even though it's that, I still don't want to lose like the silly and the whimsy and the, morbidity that was there the first day that I came up with it when I was just messing around in art class in college.
Well, folks, while we're talking about the book, I want to direct your attention to below the video. There is a link to the Indiegogo, so you can click that. Go there. It'll be in a separate window and everything. You'll still get to hear Ali talk about the book. Go out there and pick a tier that's right for you. Throw some money at this thing. Whisk your copy away. Let's see what I tried to do it for a baking pun there, and it fell flat.
No. It was close.
It was close. It was a little
Flat-
unleavened.
Flat counts. Yeah, there you go. Flat counts as one. I'll put it there. And whisk too. It's all right. You took a whisk.
Yeah, I took a whisk. See, you're way better at this than I am.
It's okay. Puns and I, we belong together.
Well, I used to be an incorrigible punster, and I needed no encouragement. But it's the brain gets older.
Hello, Grant.
The tiers here are just they're incredibly inexpensive, and I really think that you're going to have no problem at all meeting your goal and surpassing it. Grant, good to see you, man. Grant was here last night.
Well, I worked really hard to make it that way. I had a financial person go over everything. It's true, I'm not going to make much money myself from it, but that wasn't the goal, really. The goal is longevity, so I want to be able to make more. The next one is a zombie book. There's an option where I'm going to make like a pseudo trilogy with some other tradesmen doing, other things where they all like have their own
Is
thing.
there a butcher and a candlestick maker in the works somewhere? I mean,
Theoretically.
Okay.
I Hockey drew some Hockey who did my cards, my trading cards. He drew some like early concept art. And then also I wrote these like silly nursery rhymes that are really dark, morbid nursery rhymes about each of them.
Cool.
So it's an option, but I knew it's my first one. I've got to make sure I can get it out there, show everybody that I'm reliable, because I primarily do prose. This will be my first comic, even though technically it will be my third book.
So you've done, because you've published the prose stuff before.
Yes, I published and fulfilled all of the prose myself.
Oh, okay.
Without a crowdfund.
Yeah, I've done prose, and I did an 8-page comic recently that's going to be crowdfunded in an anthology soon. And I would rather write another 100,000-page novel than sit down and script a comic.
Oh yeah, well, and
hard.
I've got novels going on too, but it being a visual medium, it's easier to do. It's easier to sell that, and hopefully I can build that fan base that thinks like, maybe I want to try a book that doesn't have pictures.
Yeah, it's because that's still a thing. Books still exist. Keep making them.
Hey, Manticore.
I get the feeling that that this is a one and done. That this is not like first issue of a series.
No, this is just one.
Just one. So how big of a book is this? He's got 13 people to kill.
Currently, it's 24 pages, but my second stretch goal is going to be for 4 more. I also want to do another stretch goal of having a mini comic about the little fly. The fly that Dean James, that's Dean James art right there. The fly I love that little fly. He is so freaking cute. I put him in the trailer. And I named him Frederick J. Flabbergast. The J stands for James because of Dean James. Dean James is the fly's dad. I want to do like a mini comic where that fly like finds his family killed by a spider, and so he like goes on a
Along came a fly. Yeah, but
Pretty
I'm
much.
just thinking 24 pages, that's a kill every time you turn the page, because you're always gonna have 2 pages facing you. This thing's gonna be moving quickly. Cleaver will be flying.
If I can get if I can get more pages in there, then it can afford to move a little bit slower. I'll add some more in there.
Well, let's make that happen. So is all the art going to be Dean James art? I mean, I know that page was, but who's your interior artist?
My interior artist is Vinny Scatina. I can't afford Dean. That art up there, the Dean James art, is going to be one of the prints, but it's also, and I already have the magnets done. It's also a magnet. If I can pull out the magnet. Ta-da!
Oh, look at
Maybe.
that. Very cool. So that's is that a floppy or a hard magnet?
It's a hard magnet.
Nice. It's nice enamel coating there. Very cool. That'll look great on your fridge.
Exactly.
Every time you go to get something sweet out of it, there's a pile of bodies and blood. Maybe help lose weight,
Well, and if you don't like it, I figured everybody uses magnets no matter what. And then also, if somebody looks at it and says, "What the heck is that thing on your fridge?" You can be part of my treat team.
Yes. You get to sell the book to other people.
Yeah, and there's the fly up there.
There he is. Very cool. Very cool. So you got I don't see any stickers on this thing here.
No, I don't like stickers.
I don't either. I used to. I used to really love stickers, and I put them all over my laptop. And you know what happened to my laptop? Died.
Exactly.
And, you just don't keep dead laptops because of the stickers, and all my cool stickers went away. So I'm more into fridge magnets now.
I also have the 6 a.m. comics magnets right here.
6 a.m. is a treasure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
This guy has done work for everybody.
He did this, and they're just so freaking cute. The little egg says "Beat Me" on it, and I call them my beater buddies, because look how freaking adorable that is.
A masochistic egg.
And these ones are soft.
Oh yeah, the flexible magnets. Yeah.
And all that is being done locally as well. There's a really cool place. I lucked out, I think, being where I am.
To have all this done locally is something people can't really appreciate because it's so easy to say, I need something done, go to Google and just see who the first ad is. But
I don't want to do that.
Find a local source. Yeah, it's very very cool to see the money staying locally in the economy, not going to, as much as I order from the big companies, Sticker Mule, I still love you, but if somebody here was doing it, I would probably go to them. You can get 13 books, assuming you are a retailer on this tier,
sure.
For $90 for 13 books, 2 claimed. Yeah, I mean, if you get them for your friends, they make great Christmas gifts. They make great Easter gifts. Put them in an Easter basket.
Don't. No, this is not for children. I do not. I don't recommend you doing this for legal reasons. I must say
it's delivering in October. Put it in those trick or treat bags, kids.
No,
it's a great Halloween. Don't listen to me. Listen to her.
I mean, at a parent's discretion, but for legal reasons, please don't.
Don't do this. I got thrown for a second there because I was like, oh, Christmas stocking stuffers, but that's the 13 books is December and the other stuff is all October. Is that just an error in the listings?
I just want to pad out the time to make sure I have the time.
Okay.
That's all.
And then there's a hockey personalized book. You're gonna pay for this one, folks, but it's going to be personalized with artwork.
No, the book isn't personalized. You get the book, and then you also get a hockey doesn't he doesn't really my thing came out. He's going to draw traditionally you getting killed by EGGBEATER as your own original art. And then you also get a copy of the book.
For $175, original art of you being killed by the hero of the story.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't call him a hero because he's still killing people.
They deserve it. They had it coming. I won't jump
they
into
only
Chicago
had themselves to vote.
Yes.
Oh boy.
If you'd have been there, if you'd have seen it, I bet you would have done the same.
for legal purposes again.
It's a musical night. So, how far into the production is this so far? I mean, you've got a lot of time between now and delivery, but what's the pace look like so far for page production?
It's all written. Pretty much just and I have 12 pages totally done.
Okay.
Other than the lettering, which I'm doing. And then what I have it set up as every 4 pages, we sign a new contract and I pay him again for every 4 pages. So in the end, he's actually getting paid more than if I just gave him a chunk like Marvel or DC does. And also, if for whatever reason, I wouldn't, but if for whatever reason one of us decided that we didn't want to work on it anymore with that person, then it would be easier to terminate the contract. That's the only reason that I did it that way, and partially it was because it's both of our first time. But that's why I did it that way. But having said that, we have 12 pages that are totally all the way done. I considered showing more on the Indiegogo campaign, but I was concerned that they would take it down.
Yeah, they're Indiegogo. They may still take it down. They don't need reasons, apparently.
I thought I wouldn't tempt fate.
Yeah. For a first-time artist, this stuff, for a first-time comic published artist, this stuff looks really good. This it reminds me of the Darkman comics when Darkman was a thing.
Vinny is a tattoo artist, and I found him just randomly on Facebook on like a horror art group that we were both on.
I almost thought you were going to say he works next door to the printing company. It's local again.
No, he's actually in California. I'm in Florida. He's in California. We did a whole stream on my channel of like meet the artist. He doesn't have a lot of time because to like go on streams and stuff, which is why I'm always doing it. But he posted this like really gnarly cyber Superman and that he drew. And I said, "Oh my gosh, that's the guy that I want." And I hadn't even for sure decided that I wanted to do a comic at the time, but like when I saw it, I thought that's exactly the look that I want. And he's doing it traditional, which I love. And we negotiated a price and it worked out for both of us, so here we are.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to hit that refresh button right now because it's Indiegogo and you have to refresh it to see it, to see if we had anybody in our chat help us out tonight, make me look good or make me look bad. And if I refresh all of this, it's coming back.
I know, right? Good help is so hard to find.
Y'all let me down, chatters. But if you're watching on replay, you ignore what that just said. If you're watching on replay, say, "Well, I'll go get that book." You're only $1,300 away from funding. Come on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 3,700 out of 5.
Oh wow, sweet. See, the thing is, like,
actually,
I know,
only 1,298 if we want to do the math exactly.
I know that it's not everybody's cup of tea, but having said that, what I do is I just talk about it to everybody. I talk about it to people in the grocery store, because the number one way for people, I read a Forbes article, the number one way that people still decide whether they're going to buy something is through word of mouth. So you just tell everybody. So what I would ask is please join my trait team and tell whomever that you think might be interested. I know a lot of us are pretty introverted, but we all have friends, so
yeah. We all have friends who are into horror. I know a couple of comic shops that the guys who run it are big horror guys, and they should know about this, put in their store. Captain Infinity, thank you for popping in, man. Cheers to you too, sir. And when you talk about talking to people about the project, I see a lot of creators who are like, "Hey, look, I'm putting a T-shirt out there with my character on it, you know, because it's a cool looking character and it's gonna rock on a T-shirt." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you don't have the name of your character, or even worse, the name of your book on there with the character, because if somebody sees your shirt, they may say, 'Who's that on your shirt?' And then you can tell them, hey, you know, that's EGGBEATER. You know, he's this horror comic. It's kind of like Sweeney Todd, and here's this and that." But if you have the character and it says EGGBEATER, then not only can you still talk to those people, but the people who walked past you and didn't stop and saw the image, like, that's a cool image. What is that? EGGBEATER. I'm going to have to look that up. They can. You can't Google what was a guy holding a mixer and he's wearing a bloody apron. You're going to be lost. So it's you're not going to.
Oh, and that's another thing. I've got an apron available with those cross pins on it, embroidered as an add-on.
Oh, very cool. So,
and then my first stretch goal is going to be having this. I don't know how well it will be seen, but
I see it, yeah,
as a bookmark. And this was done by Victor King.
Very nicely done.
He's got these like
EGGBEATER bookmark.
Crazy freaking like razor sharp things, kind of more stylized.
Yeah,
and then
that will mess you up.
The drool. That drool.
I can hear him talking now with that sibilant slurping sound.
Exactly. And that's part of what I think makes it work, you know, because I do the little noise and stuff, and that came from I was doing the makeup test on myself, and I had my liquid latex out, and I'm trying to stretch out like my mouth, you know, and see how far I can make it stick and look all, you know, gloopy and stuff. And I found myself drooling. And I just, like, at one point I was just like, and I was just like, you know what? That would be really disturbing.
He would too.
Yeah, he would too. And it would be really disturbing if that's what you heard when, you know, he came after you, was the EGGBEATER going and then him going like as he's, you know, sucking up the drool before, you know, he stabs you in the spine with his EGGBEATER and starts going like that's what I was thinking.
The drool is definitely a nice touch. So sometimes when you wake up in the morning, folks, that drool on your pillow, it's not yours.
Oh yeah, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you should think of is EGGBEATER. When you drool on your pillow, when you're eating breakfast.
Absolutely. So think of EGGBEATER. Get EGGBEATER. It's out there on Indiegogo. It's got 40 days left to go. Don't sit there and think you have plenty of time. Don't just say, I'll get it on the last day. It's Indiegogo. They take your money now, so you don't have to get it and forget it. That's the beauty of Indiegogo.
Well, so, if you go back to the page, there's another video that you should show. Oh,
well, that means I've got to stop sharing, and I've got to reshare it with sound.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I did not know there was another video. Well, I kind of knew, but so if I share it now and I go to this video, that one. All right, we're gonna do it. Let's
Teen, 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 teen. Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your old pal, John Caicedo, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And tonight's terror tale I call What's Cooking? That's right, Eric. This is a special shout out just for you. I understand they call you EGGBEATER. Yes, I know, because you're a cook or you like to bake. Actually, you're a baker. You know, there's the butcher, the baker, and the undertaker. That's a little different fairy tale than the one the others tell. But listen, Allie wanted to wish you one hell of a good time, because you have a long life ahead of you and an even longer death. Which means you have to enjoy each and every day. And of course, every night. Well, listen, someday we're going to have to get together and, exchange baking recipes. Have you tried my lady fingers? They're delicious, although milady was not so quick to part with them.
Okay, that was cleverly written. I don't know how Cameo works entirely. Was that a script you provided?
Nope, he did that.
Damn, he's on mark. So, what? Dang it! Why can't I get rid of the screen? There we go.
No, I just gave some info on EGGBEATER, and then he did all that stuff.
that is some amazing improv. The Butcher, the Baker, and the Undertaker. That was
well. I mean, he's
brilliant.
been doing that since before I was born, so he better be good at it.
Yeah, but he was like, he's the actor, but he was provided lines. But apparently, he had some input into those lines.
Oh yeah,
because he's good at it. Damn.
Well, I think there was even an episode that was about like a cook or something, so that probably helps. But yeah, he was freaking great. He was super cool.
Allie, thank you so much for taking our invitation on and coming on the show. I know we didn't boost your campaign much as we wanted to. We tried to, but I do.
Well, people always watch the replay.
They do actually. Amazingly enough, they do watch the replays here.
I'm just glad that people seem to like it as much as they do. Like that's pretty freaking cool.
It looks like a fun book. So best of luck with it. You're not going to need it. It's going to fund. Hopefully, it's going to overfund. You got a lot of time. That last week is when things really take off.
I don't think I'll stop being nervous until I'm done fulfilling.
Oh yeah. When 2 weeks after fulfillment and nobody's come back with a return address missing, you're fine. It's when those returns come in because somebody didn't change their address. Those are a pain. I hate those. Anyway, folks in the chat, thank you so much for being here tonight. We don't have a show without you. We're just a podcast falling in the woods otherwise and making no noise at all. And as always, while you were here, we just hope you had a blast. Good night, everybody.